So today is an expedition to find the source of the River Derwent. Now this is a route that I first had the idea to do quite a few years back. Two things happened that made me temporarily give up on the idea. So the first thing was coming down here, Bleaklow. There's the Shepherd's Meeting stones just above it, to the side of it. The path that goes along the River Derwent turns up Bleaklow, and then after that there is no path whatsoever for this section, and it is very rough going. The second reason I kind of lost interest in doing this is because there is a sign on Bleaklow which says the source of the River Derwent. I've visited that spot a couple of times, but I haven't been able to find out anything about it, like who put it there, when it was put there, or how they decided that was the source of the River Derwent. Both times I've been to it, it's been completely dry and didn't look like the source of the River Derwent. It didn't seem to be in quite the right spot. Now I've no doubt whatsoever that that signpost is extremely close to the actual source of the River Derwent, possibly just meters away, but at least now I don't think that is the actual source. Of course the actual source will change. It will change according to how much rainfall there's been, it will change according to the season, it will change over time. So I thought it was worth revisiting my original idea and following the River Derwent all the way from the top of Howden Reservoir to locate where the source is, at least where the source is today. And the other thing is, I realised that this whole stretch of the River Derwent is unexplored for me. The going is very tough. Seem to have temporarily plateaued out and the ground's getting very marshy. So this is Swain's Grieve. Still going. Still going. So it gets more and more difficult to work out which the main course is. I think this way. Okay, so I'm calling it here. There is just there more flowing water, but that's clearly going the other direction. Okay, this is official. I should have brought some kind of sign. So we got some fairly large pools of water just a few meters away from where I was, but these flow the other way. Just a quick video to talk about some strange and eerie and just slightly unnerving events that happened on my most recent walk. None of them in themselves were that significant, but there was kind of a combined effect which kind of built this strange feeling.
The first thing was walking through this really tall bracken. It was tough going, but also you just didn't know where you were putting your feet. You didn't know what you were going to walk into. I was trying not to think about hornets' nests and wasps' nests and adders. So I could smell something at one point, and I recognised the smell. It was the smell of decomposition, and it turned out to be a dead sheep, which I could just see right in front of me through the bracken. There were flies. I could just see like little bit of white wool with flies on it. Seeing and smelling dead sheep is nothing new for me on walks, but I think it was the fact that I got so close to it. If I hadn't smelt it, if I hadn't realised that there was something dead very close by, I would have walked directly onto it. The next thing was when I came across this compass just sitting there, lying there on the ground in the middle of nowhere. No one goes there. There's no paths, there's nothing, and there was this compass. You never see something like that by itself. It's weird. And of course it makes you think, whose compass is this? What happened to that person? And when you've just had that association with finding a dead sheep, you start thinking horrible things about bodies and maybe not even seeing a body there. You know, because it's so overgrown, there could have been a body there. You could have walked right past it without seeing it. Then I came to this area called Swains Grieve. It was the first time I've been there. It was quite eerie. There was a bit of an atmosphere. There was no one around. It's a very isolated area. It's kind of a lower plateau, but surrounded by this high moorland. And there was just an atmosphere. I should say that Bleaklow has certain myths and legends attached to it about flying saucers, strange lights, eerie goings on. At Swains Grieve, I could see something in the distance on the other side of Swains Grieve, just below the slopes. I could see something moving around, bobbing around, and I couldn't really tell what it was. I zoomed in with my phone. It was moving around quite strangely and seemed to be kind of catching the light and changing colour and even changing shape slightly. I decided it was some kind of balloon, but I'm not 100% sure. It's just very odd to see something like that. It was bobbing around for a while, and after a couple of minutes I kind of stopped paying attention to it and stopped filming it. And then I noticed something else, but this was the other side of Swains Grieve. It wasn't the same object, and I only saw this one for a fleeting second. They were probably balloons, but it was just very strange to even see one, but let alone see two at the same place at the same time. Just weird. At the time I thought it was a little bit odd, these things, but I didn't think too much of it, and I wasn't too weirded out at the time because I actually ended up sitting and having a 5-10 minute break on this old ruin that's actually in Swains Grieve, so I wasn't too bothered by the whole thing at the time. It really wasn't until the next day that I kind of thought, oh, lots of strange things happened.